Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we are going to be fixing up a fixer-upper. So what you want to do is remove all fixers accessories and also peel off those kneecaps. Be careful, if you need to use a knife then do so. I just peel them off just very gradually and they do snap off, and then with a little scalpel just take off the rest of the residue that's over the top, you know, just that extra bit of white stuff, so it brings it down to a nice level with his knees. Grab your acetone and just make sure it's got acetone in the ingredients. It's just nail polish remover. Just read the actual ingredients on the background to make sure it has acetone. Doesn't have to be 100%. Just using a cotton tip, we're going to just take away those little bits that are in the sort of side of the helmet, just up the top there. And also let's take off that extra weathering that Hasbro already put it on there, and we'll put our own on a later date. Next up, what you want to do is grab your flat black XF1, and we're going to put that over the knee pads where we cut away those extra little bits there. It just makes it all just disappear very nicely. Next, we're going to go around his neck up to that sort of U sculpted part on there to bring that sort of nice sort of open neckline that the Republic Commandos have. After your black has dried, then grab your flat green XF5 and then simply go all over the whole entire figure where the green is already. Don't worry about going over the lines because you can easily chip it off with a cocktail stick, but the lines are already in place. You're just simply tracing over the top with this green. Next up, we're going to add our first little bit of Hasbro what they've forgotten details here, and we're just going to colour in that green little part that's just underneath his breastplate. You can actually see it's a bit raised at the moment, so we're just going to fill that in and let it dry. And then once you've done the top, let it dry a little bit and then carry on and do the legs and let the figure sit and dry before handling it again. While the figure sits and dries, then add the green to the backpack as well, and also carry on that line triangle at the top over the top of the backpack. Now mainly the figure is dry, we're just going to add those extra little details from Hasbro once again, and we're just going to fill it out on the sides of where we added that extra bit of detail, a bit more like a triangle without a point that goes up to that kind of sort of like pyramid part. Next up, unfortunately this guy hasn't got any elbows, or elbow pads shall we say, so we need to add our own. Just using a bit of plastic that I got from one of the boxes, I simply just cut out a little bit of piece there, trace it, and try and work out the length of the actual part there. If you look at the elbow part itself, you can actually see there's a little bit of raised white on the actual gauntlet. I used that as the length and then just cut out these pieces here and then painted them white before adding a little bit later on. Next up, there's another detail that Hasbro have left off, and some clone troopers, they have this kind of like cartridge kind of sort of like storage on their shoulders, and Fixer has this as well. So I thought I'd go and get a bit of like corrugated card, just cut it down to a small rectangle that'll fit onto his shoulder, and then obviously it's got the bump parts that are in there. I'm just going to slide in, put some cocktail sticks inside it to keep that shape upright, and then when I paint it gunmetal, it should set and actually make it a lot more firmer, rather than just being a little bit of card on his shoulder. And it actually works quite well, to be honest with you. So once it's painted, leave it to one side, let it dry, and then we add all these extra little bits that we've taken off a little bit later on. So now you want to grab your gunmetal. Unfortunately, after this bit here, once I finished this bit, the actual camera stopped recording. I ran out of storage. How stupid of me. But with that, with the gunmetal, go over all the other parts of Fixer, all those little gunmetal parts of his helmet, and obviously his gun. On his backpack, you got that bit on the crossbar with that little bit of raised kind of rectangle on front and the back at the top there that you can see that's already painted, and the bottom part of his backpack too. And don't forget the digital part display as well. And now we're going to simply just paint with that on top with a bit of cyan, and then we're going to put on the extra little torch bit around just underneath this bit, which is already green on the backpack, but we're going to change it to cyan. You can leave the other side as green, that is fine. And you can see that the little part of that area, the little nub part, is actually gunmetal as well. So carrying on with the cyan, what you want to do is fill in the T-visor, but don't let it dry. Go and grab your white straight away, and do a little sort of a bit of 50-50 with the white and the cyan, and just do a smaller T inside, so it leaves the rest of that big cyan around on the outside, but it's got a lighter part in the middle. And then quickly get the white as well and do an even smaller T on top of that. So you've got 3 stages: pure cyan, 50-50 cyan and white, and then white, and it will give you that kind of gradient of the visor with the light on, and it comes out with a really nice effect. So grabbing your deep green XF26, we're going to simply go over that kind of stripe that he has on his thigh. Also go over the green and then swing it around a bit like an S shape, so it connects with the bit on the back, so it's got a continuous loop around on the leg. And once it's dry, you just see a sort of more of a glossy kind of difference there in the greens. So now your figure should be remotely dry. We're going to add on all his accessories. So we're going to add on his storage container part on the side here, keeping those toothpicks in there just to keep that kind of shape. Pull them out, and once it's done, it should be more rigid as the paint is dry now. We're going to glue his elbow pads onto there, but just be careful, don't put the glue into the joints, and then also add on his knee pads, once again gluing them to the bottom of the shin. It's also entirely up to you. I actually glue in the backpack as well, just because it gets a bit annoying. Sometimes they do pop out and stuff, and these guys are never without it. So now your elbow pads are on, what we're going to do is just grab the green, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of a line so it kind of flushes more with the original paintwork that we have on here as well. And now to add these weathering, what I did, I just simply put a bit of white on the side, using a bit of sponge and dabbing most of it off. And I just sort of speckled it around on the actual figure, so it gives off that kind of sort of like bits of rub around here and there. And then I used a bit of the paintbrush just to add on extra white chipping around on it. Once finished, I simply grab the black wash and dry brushing as well. I don't really do a full black wash on there now. It's just a bit of a wet kind of brush with the black on it, and I just dab it in areas, use my hand to rub it in and whatnot. And yeah, that's all you need to do. Just bring in your other figures if you have black washed them as already, so you've got the same kind of gradient between the figures, so one doesn't look extremely dirty compared to the other, you know, so they all kind of look like they've been on the same mission. And that's it, and I guess I'll see you at the end of the video. So here he is, all ready to join his brothers on the shelf, and I must admit that this guy looks a lot better now. It's a lot better than that ghastly green that they've put on him, and those extra details there that he was missing as well has really brought the character definitely out to life as well. And it was quite a simple one, to be honest. There weren't no extra little bits really that we had to drastically add to the guy, apart from a little bit of cardboard here. And this is the third one in the squad, and now we just need Scorch, although he looks really nice, but I'm wondering what kind of upgrades he will use as well, and hopefully not as much as Sev, this one. And Boss wasn't too bad. I think he was quite plain, to be honest, even as a Republic Commando. So we didn't use many paints here, to be honest. The main one that we did use is flat green XF5, and all you got to do is simply replace the green what was on there already. So the markings are already done, etc. You just go over the top with it, and you don't even need to really make it completely covered in it, because we're going to do a black wash over the top, and it gives off that sort of wear and tear anyway, with that other green kind of shining through. But make sure you get most of the coverage on there, but it's not necessarily to like really go to town. Next up we used is another green, which is deep green XF26. Now this actually finishes a little bit more darker and maybe a little bit more glossier than the other one, and as you can see here, this is what we added just to add that extra little green coming around there. I did actually put my thumb in it and I've used a little mark there, but you can just see that difference there in the greens, so it just shows out. So this finishes matte and this finishes gloss, and yeah, it just sort of adds that extra detail that is there needed, to be honest with you. We go through what I actually done with that to get a closer look as well, with that flat white XF9, and that's all for these little markings and chippings all over the top of the green. And then also used that in his visor as well. The visor, we used the cyan acrylic one from MIG. I've used this quite a few times, to be honest with you. It's a really nice sort of paint, especially very vibrant and bright, and we've used those on those extra terminals on the back as well. The other part, flat black, shall I say, XF1, and that's for his sort of like neck part around there, just to elongate it that little bit more. And I think that's all we used the flat black for, actually. Am I being... Oh no, we finished off his knees down the bottom by where we cut off his knees, adding this over the top of his sort of like a black undersuit as well, just to finish those bits off. And then gunmetal X10, mainly for the gun, and all the other little parts that are already gunmetal on the figure we just replaced with this, just to give it that kind of more metallic shine, and also this little extra bit that we added onto his shoulder. And then we just finished it all off with another XF1 black, and this is just my simple black wash. It doesn't have to be this one, you can use any acrylic black paint, and that's just to finish off with that black wash over the top of it. So just taking a quick closer look at the figure, you can see what I've done with the paintwork as well. So obviously all the green that you see on here has been replaced with that flat green, the cyan with the white. As you're doing this as well, just sort of place it, but don't wait for it to dry. Just go over it, then get the white and the cyan, mix that together a little bit, then mix it in, and then get the white to go in with it just as it's drying, because then you get that nice sort of like blemish kind of sort of bleed into each other that gives it that kind of vibrant look. And then we've got this little part here, which is just a quick idea that I use. I thought, oh, corrugated cardboard, putting those cocktail sticks in there, then gluing it into place, and paint has kind of made it hard. I won't push down on it, but it's a lot firmer than what it was beforehand. The extra green parts that we have added on here, so we use that sort of bit of clear plastic to make these extra kind of elbow pads a little bit longer here, and not too sure, because there's not a lot of reference material out there for Fixer, to be honest. It was quite hard on Google to find, so I just thought, well, this bit is a little bit more wider than it was originally, so it's more like triangular here, so I just carried on that line going over to his elbow pad, which I did do on that side as well. And then going down to his legs, we added that extra green on there, and the way I've done it is that it sweeps down and then it connects to the other leg on this side, so it kind of sweeps up and around like a bit like an S. So if you wanted a little bit of a closer look what I've done, because I found it quite hard to find any kind of reference material on it, because it just literally just does this front showing and that's it. So I just kind of sort of like the way that I kind of imagined it. All the way down, it's just all the green and the white chippings for the gunmetal as well, which is his gun, all in these sort of like markings around on his helmet. These little screw things, he's got 3 of these across on his top there. Also on this side, I've actually moved that gunmetal all the way up into this kind of sort of like a window part that you can see that's sculpted in on the side here. Gunmetal on here, and these little extra kind of vent parts on the top of his backpack. Gunmetal inside there, gunmetaled on these as well, and then we've done the cyan over the top for his buttons and this light as well that we've added. So yeah, all in all, it's a lot better figure now. That extra detail really shines it out, and obviously that black neckline bringing it down a little bit further to sort of give that reminiscence of that kind of sort of armor that they use, rather than sort of going right up to the shoulders. So yeah, he's the 3rd one in the squad. We have got Boss now on the side, which is finished, and now he can actually hang with his brothers and Sev, and wait for Scorch to come further down the line. So thank you so much for joining this one. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to tackle this. Have you tackled the others before? Let me know. And don't forget, you can subscribe, ding that bell, follow me on Instagram where you see more pictures of these guys. And also, if you've got any questions, just add me, follow me, and give me a message, and I'll be happy to reply. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.